So, welcome to Collaborating with Divine Beings of Prosperity, a masterclass in healing. We have a lot to cover, and I'm so excited you're here, whether you're listening to this now in person or later on. It's going to be a very powerful experience. I've really enjoyed preparing for this, so welcome. So, our agenda today, just do light intros and intentions. We're going to look at where lack is hanging out in our lives. Going to create your prosperity vision, and we're going to meet the beings of divine prosperity. There are so many. We're not going to meet all of them today, but we're going to meet 5 that I tend to work with and that are probably the most common ones when you think about it. But by no means is this an exhaustive list. We're going to do a bit of a visualization and prosperity healing. We'll be working with those beings to do the prosperity healing. And when we talk about collaboration, that is what we're doing. We're collaborating with them to receive healing and insight and information. We're going to reflect and recap. We'll have time for Q&A, and then we'll do takeaways and a closing. All right. So just kicking it off here with a quote by Jerry Gillies. The strongest single factor in prosperity consciousness is self-esteem. Believing you deserve it, believing you will get it. So that felt pretty inspiring. All right. Would love to just hear, and you could put this in your chat, you could raise your hand, either one. What is the most impactful result you could gain from this 60-minute session? And then what would need to happen for you to achieve that result? So number 1 is if you want to share. Number 2 is more for yourself. So what is the most impactful result you could gain from this 60-minute session? And then what would need to happen for you to achieve that result? So think about it. If you feel like sharing, that's great. You don't have to. Okay,
I can chime
let's
in.
keep going. So I'm Marta. I'm your coach, your healer for the session. I'm the facilitator here. I believe in all of the possibilities, your dreams, and the highest version of you, as well as your ability to receive and experience all of it. I'm committed to and want you to receive what you came for tonight. So that is the place that I'm coming from. So who am I? I'm Marta. In my 20s, I lived in New York City. My average bank balance was about $7. And yes, I lived in New York before 9/11. Today is 9/11. What a momentous day to be sharing this picture. This happened shortly before the towers came down. So that was a huge turning point in my life. But now I run a multi-6-figure business helping hundreds of professionals use strategy and energy to do the same. How is that possible? Well, I met my spiritual teacher, Master Chokoksui, when I was in college, and I learned about energy. Energy is also known as ki, chi, or prana, life force, whatever you want to call it. It's a universal kind of thing all around the world and every continent, as far as I'm aware of. But energy is what I study, pranic healing. And I took a course about prosperity energy with him. That was when I was 19. I tested and then began practicing the science of prosperity, and now I want to share it with you. And why would I want to do that? I want to do that because good-hearted people, really excellent, outstanding people, are often not as prosperous as they want to be. In my own experience working with hundreds, if not thousands of people in business, is that they are doing good. They're committed to doing good. They're good people. And when they are more prosperous and more abundant, they do good things with that. So the idea here is to open up avenues for more good people to receive because they're going to do great things with it. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing, Michelle. The physical issue now with your left foot, which is ongoing, although you're extremely active and it isn't annoying and ongoing. You would like to achieve a state of no pain and more gain. I love that. That's a powerful intention for tonight. So welcome. And we will definitely be working with Archangel Michael, who is a very powerful healer. And really all of the deities we're going to work with tonight are powerful healers. So, and you attend every Monday night, some sort of night with Master Chokoksui. Amazing. I love that. Welcome. Excellent. All right. So my definition of prosperity is health, wealth, wisdom, success, happiness, and purpose. That translates in a lot of different ways. So some people think that prosperity is just money. For me, it's a lot more than that. So I'm just sharing that with you so you're aware. I'm not only talking about money, I'm talking about wholeness, fullness, trusting yourself, liking yourself. All these kinds of things are related to, connected to prosperity. All right, so we're really getting into it now. So the next couple of minutes, we're going to do a self-audit. And the self-audit is around lack. So no judgments. This is between you and you. I'm not going to ask you to share, but I would like you to do a scan in your life and just notice in which of these areas do you currently notice, experience, or practice not enough? Like where is it? I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I am not enough. There won't be enough. Where does this pattern or where does this energy show up in your life? A lot of options here. Time and productivity. I didn't get enough done. I was on a seminar this morning and it was talking about artificial intelligence and how that has really speeded up everything that happens in business. And the presenter said, you will never now ever feel caught up, which was really notable. I don't think she was trying to scare us, but the idea that things are moving really, really fast, and they're probably going to feel even faster. If you are a person who feels lack of time or lack of productivity, just know that this is going to be an interesting time to be a human being, and I'm excited to see what unfolds. Also, money. Are you a person who is thinking about or considering or noticing there's not enough money, there's not enough financial thriving? Also, relationships. Is your partner not enough for you? Are there not enough potential partners out there that might be right for you? What are the ways that you might be experiencing not enough or lack in relationships? Maybe your friendships, they aren't showing up in the way that you'd like. Whatever it is, let's take an audit there. Also, career opportunities, advancement, or success. Is that promotion not coming through? Are you not making your numbers? Are you worried that the person who came in after you is advancing more quickly than you are? Or maybe that job you've been waiting for that you know has your name on it is just not coming through yet. So what are the ways in which you're noticing something is not enough? And again, the idea here, we're just noticing. There is absolutely nothing we're doing other than noticing so that we can move energy. So when we're aware, we can use these opportunities for healing in the best and most possible focused way. What about your health and your body? Are you telling yourself, I should be this weight, or I shouldn't have eaten that thing? Or is there some way that we're relating to our health or our body not getting enough sleep, whatever that is, not enough time for sleep? What are those ways in which you may be practicing or experiencing not enough? And then relationship to yourself, your self-esteem, how you see yourself. Are you compassionate with yourself, or are you beating up on yourself? Are you not enough? Are you finding yourself not enough? And usually, if that is something you're experiencing, that message didn't start with you, because from a soul place, you're definitely more than enough and doing great. Are there any other ways that maybe I haven't thought of where you might be practicing or experiencing not enough? All right, so now we're going to go into a little bit of analysis. So for each of those categories, how strong is that not enoughness or lack? So from 0 to 10, 0 being there's nothing there, to 10, which is like really extreme not enoughness or lack. So, and I'll go back for a second. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. How strong is that sense of not enough from 0 to 10? So that's assignment number 1. I'll just give you a moment here to assess. I love the structured self-audit because it's one of those things that, unless you're working with a coach or unless you have a really active self-inquiry practice, often we're not thinking in these terms. So this is one of the reasons I love doing these workshops, is it just gives us a little bit of grounding and common language and a way to be inquiring about ourselves and getting curious. And that's information that we can always use to help us heal, release what doesn't serve us, and move forward. Okay, so from 0 to 10. And again, you're not going to share, we're just noticing. All right, number 2 is, what results do you currently experience in the areas that you rated above a 5. So 5 to 10, if you rated 5 to 10, what are the results you're getting in those particular categories? Just think about it for a minute. If you want to write some notes, that's great. So what results are you currently experiencing in those areas where the lack is medium to very strong? And if you're not sure, just go with your gut. The quick answer is usually the right one. All right. Next step is, what results do you currently experience in the areas that you rated yourself below a 5? So the lack and the not enoughness, where that is kind of like medium to low, what are the results you're experiencing on that side of the equation? And this is just helping us get more targeted in what we want to call in healing wise in the rest of the masterclass and in the healing. When I do healings, I'm getting my second certification right now in pranic healing. And one of the things that I'm constantly checking in with my cases is how strong is your symptom from 0 to 10. So it's always in my mind to be thinking in this kind of spectrum. Where are we on the spectrum? I find it's really helpful to get as concrete from a 0 to a 10, because then again, we have really targeted information to work with. Because if you say, I have a lack feeling, I have a feeling of scarcity of money and a worry about money that's like 10, that's very different. Sometimes you hear somebody say, oh, I'm worried about money. And you clarify 0 to 10, they're like, oh, it's a 4. Oh, okay, well, 4 is not nothing, but it's also not 10, right? So it's also helpful to just check in with ourselves. All right, going to move on. Now, take a moment and write down or envision, what is your vision for prosperity or thriving in your life or work? So now that you've done this, and now that you are thinking about what would success look like for you, what is that vision for prosperity or thriving? And it can be as detailed or as simple as you'd like. You can fill in colors. You can really imagine what that feels like. But I'd like you to start to connect with what that vision is. And again, I believe in all the possibilities. I had a friend one time, I shared a moment where I saw myself doing a certain thing and I was excited about it and I was excited about the possibilities. This is when I first started on my healing journey. And they said to me, well, your vision is really clairvoyance in another dimension. And I don't know if you're into dimensions or clairvoyance or any of that, but the idea is if it's something that you can see or something that you can articulate, then it does exist on some sort of plane, even if we aren't sure that that's the plane that we're living in. There's a lot we don't understand, right? So just think about it. A vision could be a reality that totally, totally exists, and that because it exists, you could totally meet up with. And that's one of the reasons that I believe you can achieve anything that is in your vision. I also love this because I think we're not very specific. We don't give ourselves time to really flesh out what this might be. People talk about vision, but do you actually sit down and get specific with it? So this is a nice way also to have an opportunity to do that and to do that in community. And I see people still writing, so we'll just keep pausing. And you could also go back to some of those areas we were talking about: time, relationships, money, career, any of those things. All right, so now on to the topic of the day. And keep the vision in mind because we're going to come back to that at a certain point. But what are beings of divine prosperity anyway? According to the research I did, there is some sort of supernatural quality that beings of divine prosperity have. Whether you're talking about deities or archangels or any of those types of sacred energies, they're considered to be worthy of worship and sacred due to having authority over the universe, nature, or human life, which translates to special powers or greater than human powers. So that might be strength, that might be clarity, that might be wisdom, that might be protection, could be a lot of things. And the idea that working with these beings, they have these powers that human beings don't have. But when we work with them, they can carry us into new levels of consciousness. So by working with them, we have access to other dimensions, maybe even bringing about other areas of ourselves that we find it hard to access on our own. So that's pretty cool. All right. So more on this. There are beings of divine prosperity across all continents, all religions. Some religions are even defined as to whether you have one main deity or many. But in every place on earth, there are beings of divine prosperity. These are African, Near Eastern, Indo-European, Native American, Polynesian, Abrahamic, and Asian, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many, they wouldn't fit on a PowerPoint. This one is already very crowded. But mostly when we think about the religions, we think about the Judeo-Christian religions, Islam, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Shintoism, Taoism, Jainism, the Mayas and the Aztecs, the Romans, the Greeks, the Germanic tribes. Don't forget the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia, also Egypt, Yoruba on the African subcontinent, and dozens and dozens and dozens more. So what is universal is always what I'm interested in. Energy is universal. Prosperity is universal. And therefore, it's not surprising to me that there are known deities across all of humanity. Wherever there are people, there are deities, beings of divine prosperity. I'm going to give you some examples. So often these deities, these beings of divine prosperity, are representing or characterized by or called upon embodied nature. So on the left there, we have an Aztec god of the sun. That's the personification of the sun in human form or in deity form. There are the forces of sun and wind. So, and this goes back to prehistoric times. People were calling on the forces of nature to help them, to save them, to protect them. This is not really something that is new technology, right? There are also characteristics or attributes that these deities have embodied. So the Egyptian god of wisdom is Thoth there in the middle, and he has the head of the ibis and the body of the human being, and he is considered the god of wisdom. Then we have on the right, the goddess of destruction, Shiva, from the Hindu religion, and she is the destroyer. There's also mercy. There are all these different aspects of humanity and of personality, different attributes that these deities have represented. Any questions so far? And again, this is a light 101 kind of course here. I've done research, but I am by no means a scholar on any of these things. This is just a combination of my own intuition and my research and my study. So today, which beings of divine prosperity will we be exploring? We're going to work with the ones that have divine attributes. There are plenty of beings that we're not going to go into because we're focused on divine prosperity. So our focus is beings of compassion and mercy, beings that have been known to be helpful and loving to human beings. So these are helpers of humanity. These are angels, bodhisattvas, these are deities. And you don't have to be religious or spiritual to work with them. So the idea is they are here to help humanity, whether or not you believe in them, whether or not you work with them, whether or not you have ever thought or considered that they might be there to help you. And some of these beings don't have free will, and they can only help when they are asked to help. You have a guardian angel, which will, if it's not your time, they will, pull you out of the way of danger or whatever. But if you want to work with these deities and really experience the healing and the power that they have, often you have to ask. because they can't just intervene in human affairs. That would be chaotic, and that's not karmically good, I guess. So we're also going to invoke for divine protection when we do our visualization, because we want to be safe in the world of energy. And when you are calling in beings, you want to be sure that you're calling in spiritual, divine beings and not other beings. All right, so our first one, I call her Buddha Kuan Yin. Her name is Kuan Yin. She's actually known in China, in Japan, in India. Her name is Avalokiteshvara. I'm sorry for probably butchering that. So she's in Eastern Asia as well as the subcontinent, if I am correct. She's also known as Kannon, the goddess Kannon in Japan. So if you go to a Buddhist temple and the goddess Kannon, this is actually a photograph I took at a temple in Kyoto, Japan. This is an actual photograph that I took. So she's everywhere, but she's very recognizable anywhere you go. Her superpowers are mercy and compassion. She is known as the goddess of mercy and compassion. Her mission is to end human suffering. She's actually what we call a bodhisattva. So a bodhisattva is a highly compassionate being that has achieved enlightenment. And yet, instead of hanging out in nirvana, they have decided to come back to help humanity so that more human beings can be free from suffering, can be on their path to enlightenment themselves. So she's a very, very compassionate being, and she is often pictured with the crown. You see the crown there, a necklace, a lotus, a vase. She often is pictured with a vase and pouring out water in a vase. Sometimes you'll see her in a fountain. And the vase is pouring out human tears so that when finally all the human tears are gone, she will rest. She will go to nirvana, but she will not rest until then. She's also with fish in Tokyo. The major Buddhist temple, actually, the founding of the city of Edo, which became Tokyo, was founded by fishermen who came across a statue of her in the river, and they pulled it up, and thus they knew that that was a place that their catch would be blessed and that they founded the city. So call on Kuan Yin when you are feeling uncertain, when you're feeling in despair, or when you're feeling fear. And some of these deities actually have mantras that you can use to invoke the energy of that deity, of that being. Hers is called Om Mani Padme Hum. And this is the universal mantra of mercy and compassion. When I do my healing, sometimes I have it on in the background because it's a very strong, compassionate vibration. And sound is energy, and sound heals. So that's available to you if you want to do more study. I'm just mentioning the ones here that have them that I'm aware of. Some of the deities have many, 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 and others you have to create your own. Okay, so that's Kuan Yin. And Ganesha, also known as Ganesh or Lord Ganesh. Oh, and by the way, deities don't really have gender. Many of them are seen or perceived as having a certain gender or not. Kuan Yin actually has been personified and documented as male and female. So that you might see her with a mustache, but she still presents as female. So that's just interesting when we think about diversity. Our deities are very diverse, and they are modeling for us all of the energies. It doesn't really matter what the gender is. That's just interesting. So Ganesh is the classic. When I think about the beings of divine prosperity, Ganesh is the one that I think about first. His superpowers are strength, stamina, longevity, wisdom, and luck. He's an elephant, part human. And his mission is to bring success and to help remove obstacles. He is often seen with a mouse, looking at all of the very great challenges we have. With a mouse, it's like disparity, right? But the idea is with Ganesh, even the smallest mouse can overcome big challenges. A broken tusk, that's about humility. A noose, a bunch of sweets. So that's how he often looks. You can call on him when you are stuck or blocked, when you are calling in new beginnings, you're starting a new job, you have a new baby, You're looking for a new time in your work life. Also, when you want to make right choices and feel a sense of stability. And his mantra is Om Gan Ganapataye Namaha. I'm not the expert on speaking them out loud. It's much different to chant them, and I recommend chanting. Okay, Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael is a Christian saint, but he is also known as one of the archangels, and he is the head archangel. So he oversees the hierarchy. And his superpowers are physical power, telepathy, strength, and speed. He is known as the divine warrior. He is almost always shown with a sword and wings. So when you think about Archangel Michael, you're thinking about strength, you're thinking about justice, you're thinking about standing up for what's right. And you call on Archangel Michael when you are seeking healing. So we mentioned that before at the beginning. When you need guidance, when you need protection, when you want to call in extra layer of courage, he is an advocate. He can help support you in that way. I'm not aware of any distinct mantras, but feel free to create your own that are related to protection or guidance. When you want to get rid of something really nasty, ask him to help with his sword to cut that out of whatever's happening. Very powerful. And now we have Lakshmi. Lakshmi is another Hindu goddess, Hindu deity. Her superpowers are beauty and manifestation. Her mission is just to deliver wealth, prosperity, and good fortune. Often she is present when we're talking about luxury. A lot of the energy of Lakshmi is very luxurious. She's often seen with the lotus, which you can see here. And the lotus is an interesting metaphor because, of course, the lotus grows in mud, the muck and the mud, and yet the lotus is how we may start in mud, but we are on our way to enlightenment, to full realization. She also has gold jewelry often, open palms, coins, you name it. She travels with an elephant and an owl. You want to call on her when you are specifically seeking and wanting to call in wealth, prosperity, and intelligence. There are so many Lakshmi holidays. There are so many Lakshmi mantras. Go ahead and do some research on Lakshmi mantras. There are so many. So choose your favorite, go onto YouTube, take a listen. There's so much here. There's an abundance of mantras when it comes to Lakshmi. All right, now Archangel Barachiel. Archangel Barachiel is not one that you might have heard of, and he is very special. His superpower is blessings and luck. He's a Christian archangel, Christian saint, but his mission is to oversee, he's actually in charge of all of the guardian angels. He announces and delivers blessings, and often you have your own guardian angel, from what I understand. But if you want the big guns to come in and intercede on your behalf, calling on Barachiel is like calling on all of the guardian angels. So he is there, and angels, from what I understand, are some of the deities that don't have free will. So if you want to work with the archangels, definitely ask for their help. You are not bothering them. You are not causing them offense. They are there, and they have a whole army of delegates. So if you ask for the energy of Archangel Michael, you will get it. There is no lack. You can always, unlimited times, you get to call on these beings if you want to. He is often seen with a white rose, with a bread basket that's overflowing because of blessings, and he sometimes has a staff. But I love the rose thing because it's like a really gentle way to think about prosperity. Here you see rose petals at the bottom of the screen. So call in him when you're seeking blessings and pursuing success. And again, I'm not aware of a mantra, but feel free to create your own related to whatever the blessings are that you desire. Anyone have any questions about the beings that we have been exploring? Thoughts, questions? Okay, very good. We'll keep going. So let's go ahead and experience the energy of these beings. So prosperity energy is subtle energy. It's not something that you can necessarily see unless you're really highly trained. Subtle energy is like when you have a feeling or an intuition, that's subtle energy. When you are having a massage and you feel your hands buzzing, or if you're having a healing or you're doing healing, or you're meditating, you might feel certain things, sensations going through your body. That's just subtle energy reaching your body. So subtle energy is what our divine beings work with when they do their healing. So before we start with the healing, and I'm not doing the healing, this is going to be a healing by the deities that we've been talking about. But before we get there, I want you to be really targeted so you can make the most of the healing energies. We're going to meet each one of them, and then we're going to ask them, the one that spoke to you most, that the energy spoke to you most, for you to receive the healing from them. So we'll do just like a little sampler, and then we'll ask the one that spoke mostly to you, or maybe it's all of them, all of that is possible, to step forward and do the healing for you. So revisit your vision from the beginning and where you've been experiencing lack or less than. So look at those numbers. If it's 5 or above, maybe there's something that you want to let go of or be healed from. Maybe you just want to focus on one thing and that's the most important thing. I'm just asking you to really look at what is your intention for this particular healing? What do you want to call in and receive or experience related to prosperity? So when we do pranic healing, we cleanse and then we energize. So number 2, what do you want to cleanse? What do you want to let go? And then number 3, what would you like to energize? What would you like to receive? And this can be just informal. Other things before we start, I would like for you to make note of any shifts or changes you sense in the energy, any impressions that you notice. And this is for the healing segment mostly. Are there ideas or thoughts or images? Are there sensations? Are there emotions? I'll remind you, but I'm just prompting you here so that you don't forget. The idea is to be aware that you will remember them. I'll also give you a moment to write them down after the healing. So the idea here is just to get the most out of this healing, to get that result you talked about at the beginning, commit to being open, conductive, and receptive to these divine healing energies. All right, so now we're going to do the healing. All right, and because it's important when we're working with beings to be safe, I'm just going to do a brief invocation. So I'm bringing my hands to my heart. You can feel free to do whatever feels right to you. The idea is we're just centering so that we can call in this energy. I'm connecting with a moment of gratitude, opportunity to be in space and time with all of you. From that place of gratitude, I humbly invoke to the Supreme Being, Divine Father, Divine Mother, to the universe, to source energy, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, all of the great, great ones, especially all the great beings of divine prosperity, all of the great spiritual teachers, all of the archangels, holy angels, healing angels, to our souls, our divine selves, our divine sparks, to all the invisible helpers, we humbly invoke for divine help, guidance, protection, for clarity, joy, love, abundance, and prosperity. We thank you in full faith. All right, you can put your hands down. You can set them on your lap or whatever feels comfortable. Just make sure you're not crossing any of your limbs. So when you're ready, I invite you to bring your attention to your heart. Maybe you want to press your heart gently. I just use my left hand. And just remember a moment I'm grateful for, a moment when something was happening that made you happy, a person, a place, an experience, a memory, an animal, whatever it is for you. Just reconnect with your heart. Take a breath. Hold. Exhale. Hold. And now be aware of your heart center. Imagine another happy moment, another person, another experience, another animal, perhaps, place in nature. Take a nice deep breath. Send the energy from your heart up to your crown. Feel your crown respond. From that place of activating heart and crown, we're ready to call in Buddha Kuan Yin. We invite Buddha Kuan Yin to step forward to share with us her energy, to share with us her energy of compassion and mercy. And just be open to receive. Notice the quality. Notice if you're feeling anything in your body, your crown, your heart, your hands, anywhere else. Just invite her to come in and cleanse anything that might be uncertain, any aspect of despair or fear you might have been experiencing. And fully accept and receive her energy of compassion and mercy. If you've been hard on yourself or hard on someone else, call on her, accept and allow and receive her energy of compassion and mercy. If you have any sensations, just get curious. If you don't, also just get curious. The energy is flowing, whether or not you can perceive it. Such a beautiful energy. All right. I'm going to thank Buddha Kuan Yin. Thank you, Kuan Yin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to invite her to step backwards. We're going to invite Lord Ganesh to step forward. Ganesh, breaker of obstacles, calling him in to our hearts and our crowns, into our bodies, to share with us the energy of breaking obstacles, asking him to carry away anything that is stuck or blocked, to help us with new beginnings, the energy of right choices, and of stability, emotional stability, physical stability, financial stability, health stability. Sense the quality, sense the strength. For me, this feels very different from Buddha Kuan Yin. Very powerful, very strong. So let's thank Lord Ganesh. Thank you, Ganesh, for sharing with us your beautiful energy. Go ahead and step back, and we're going to call forward Archangel Michael. He's got that sword, so if there's anything that you want to experiment with around the sword, feel free to do that. Call him into your heart, into your crown. Allow, accept, and receive the energy of Archangel Michael. Allow the guidance and protection, the healing, the courage energy. Just feel that flowing into your heart and your crown. Again, if you don't feel anything, it's still flowing. You might perceive other things, thoughts or ideas. This to me is like the fire hose energy of prosperity. It's very strong, very dense. These are my words. If they don't resonate with you, feel free to ignore. Allow him to come in. Just share his beautiful, loving, healing energy with us. Courage, protection, and strength. I'm going to thank Archangel Michael. Invite him to step back. We're going to call in Lakshmi. Lord Lakshmi, please step forward. Shower us with your wealth. Shower us with your prosperity. Shower us with intelligence, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. Share with us your luxury. Throw some coins our direction. Be open and receptive in your heart and your crown, in your whole body. Slightly different frequency. Very gentle, very beautiful. Understandable why there's so many holidays to Lord Lakshmi. All right, we're going to thank her, ask her to step back. I'm going to call in Archangel Barachiel. Archangel Barachiel, welcome. Opening in our hearts and our crowns to receive your many blessings and the luck. And if there's anything that you want to call in terms of interceding on your behalf or someone else's behalf, feel free to make your request known to Archangel Barachiel. Allow that energy to flow. This to me feels very sweet. Again, these are my words. Feel free to use your own words. Sweet and gentle. I feel this a lot in my heart. All right, let's thank Archangel Barachiel. Thank you, thank you. Let's invite him to step back. And now scan which of these divine prosperity beings of divine prosperity, spoke most to you. This is your opportunity to go ahead and invite them back in and to choose that thing you want to release or let go of and ask for their help to do so. In whatever way you feel like making the ask, you feel is right, go ahead and make the ask. And as you make the ask, they're instantly starting to do their healing work. And again, if you are drawn to one, that's great. If it's more than one, or if it's all of them, make your ask and invite them in to your heart and to your crown. Allow them to do their healing. Step out of the way. Whenever you call them in, they instantaneously help. So be conductive and receptive to their energies. Allow it to flow through your crown, through your heart, through your whole body, your mental body, your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. And maybe you feel or sense something. Maybe you have a thought or an idea that surprises you. Don't push it away. Maybe it's a physical sensation. Often when we don't know that we need healing and we ask for healing, we receive it. And sometimes it's very surprising. I'm feeling a lot in my root chakra right now, which is interesting because that's also the center for divine prosperity. So whatever it is, just notice and you will remember it later. I'll give you time to write about it. Just keep allowing this flow of prosperity energy, of this healing to come in and not only cleanse what no longer serves, but also call in your vision, call in what it is you would like to receive and experience in prosperity. They might have a message for you. If they have a message for you, it may come as a mental thing. It may come as a feeling. It may come as a memory, a sensation. You may not understand it now, but in the next 48 hours, be open to that message becoming tangible. You will receive it. All right. I feel them finishing up, so we're going to go ahead and give our huge thanks. I'm going to put my hands back on my heart and do our closing invocation. If you require further healing, that will continue until it is appropriate to end it, even if that is beyond this call. So from this place of huge gratitude to all of our divine beings of prosperity, Buddha Kuan Yin, Lord Ganesha, Archangel Michael, Lord Lakshmi, and Archangel Barachiel, and all the other divine prosperity beings that we're helping. We humbly give thanks to the Supreme Being, Divine Father, Divine Mother, to the universe, to Source Energy, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, the great beings of the universe, to all the beings of divine prosperity, to all the archangels, holy angels, healing angels, to our souls, our divine selves, our divine sparks, and to all the invisible helpers. We thank you for the deep, thorough, permanent healing. We thank you for the soothing, healing energies and purifying, clarifying light. Thank you for the mercy, compassion, breaking obstacles, for new beginnings, for guidance, healing, protection, courage, wealth, prosperity, blessings, and success. We thank you in full faith, with gratitude, with respect, and with love. We thank you. Right. You can open your eyes if you'd like to. Just come back to your body and take a moment and write down what you experienced, especially if there was a message. Note what those sensations or feelings or impressions were. This is your time to crystallize what that was, what you remember, so that you can carry it with you. So just take a moment. And if anyone would like to share anything, feel free to do so. You're welcome to do that in the chat or to go ahead and take yourself off mute. I felt a lot of energy flow. It's pretty intense in a good way. I hope you did too. So fantastic. Did anyone want to share? Totally fine. If not, this is okay. Michelle says, thank you, Michelle. I felt hot, chilled with a twitch in my neck. No particular emotions, but I was open to all of the deities for healing, abundance, and prosperity. Amazing. I love it. Yeah, sometimes those hot, cold things come through. Sometimes we also twitch. I feel that when I meditate sometimes. Great. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions about their experience, about the deities, about anything else that we've covered today? Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, I just want to know, so how and when can we call them forward when we're looking for that healing from them?
You can call on them anytime. They're always available. Time does not exist in the inner world in the same way it does here. So anytime you feel inspired or anytime you really feel like you need that energy, feel free to call on them. I'm going to release a recording of that particular visualization on YouTube. Anyone who is here tonight, anyone who has signed up, I will email it to you. But yeah, you can do that anytime. And again, if this guided practice helps, you will have that as a resource going forward. Great question.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Anyone else have questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you have any suggestions for readings for some of these, if there's a particular, particularly for the ones that are not Judeo-Christian archangels, if there's some reading you would suggest to us.
Great question. I don't know of any particular reading that is about these deities on their own, but there are a couple resources, and I can send this in the follow-up. Definitely, there's a treatise on divine prosperity that my spiritual teacher wrote, and he also wrote different books on the hidden secrets behind certain religions, and a lot of the deities we're talking about are mentioned in those books. So I'm happy to do that. For me, there's a Buddha Kuan Yin book. It's just called Kuan Yin. It's so joyful and so beautiful. I have a copy, but I can't recall if it's in this room or the other room. I should have had it with me thinking about this question coming up. But that is something that I would definitely recommend that you get. I think there are like 30 or 40 different paintings of her. There's a whole history about her. And I think in each one of the pictures that you can flip to a page and it gives you a different personality of her. There's the fierce one, and then there's the, 40 different versions of Buddha Kuan Yin and how she's presented. That's really beautiful and really powerful. And you can see her kind of in her warrior place of mercy and compassion, and you can see her in her kind of like gentle, pouring out the tears place too. I have really loved that book, and I bought it for clients. I've recommended it to so many people. So that one for sure, I would recommend. There are dozens and dozens of things on Lakshmi because she has so many holidays dedicated to her. So if you're interested in Diwali or Purnima, there are tons and tons of these holidays that are about her and different aspects of her and the way that she presents. And Lord Ganesh, like, there's just tons and tons. Oh, we have some thoughts from the group. So Denise says, I'd recommend the book It's Not Your Money by Tasha Silver. That's good. Also, these are not about deities, but We Should All Be Millionaires, Rachel Rogers. She also has a podcast. So more to come. But yeah, great questions. So how do I work? I do coaching and healing. I do group programs. I speak and I do corporate work. I'm sharing this because I love doing programs like this, but I also have a profession and this is something I do that's related to what I do. So I thought I'd share about it. I do have an upcoming virtual program. It's 12 weeks and there are a bunch of different aspects to this. There are 4 root causes to lack of prosperity. And this program is designed to tackle all 4 of those. Plus we have community and accountability. The idea is transformation. It's a very beautiful program. The last cohort manifested $200,000 in 4 months, and it was ridiculous. But the most impressive outcome is that 100% of them said they trusted themselves more. And when you think about abundance energy, if you are in trust of self, you're unstoppable. That is the energy of abundance. So if you have questions about that, just let me know. My website's thebusinesshealer.com. I'm on all the socials at _businesshealer. I'm so grateful to all of you for being here. This is an honor. And this is the kind of workshop that I wish somebody had put on so I could learn earlier in my spiritual journey. So I'm really, really grateful for the inspiration to share it with you and to be here in time and space on the internet. What an honor. What a pleasure. And my wish for all of you is that you be super prosperous. Yeah, somebody was going to say something. Go ahead.
I was just say thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Super grateful. And I'm just going to say huge thanks and huge gratitude to all of you and to our beings of divine prosperity. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions or you'd like to chat about what came up for you, I'm always interested to hold space and to learn and to connect with people. I do offer a free prosperity healing to absolutely everybody who is interested. No risk, just for fun, just for service. And so if you're interested in that, definitely let me know. And that would be a real pleasure and an honor. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.
Thank you.